Canadian were the #1 fan of Kraft dinner. And guess what I am? A Canadian. So weird. Kraft, there's no maple syrup in Kraft dinner. Why do we like it? It's not Canadian way, there's no bacon, there's no maple syrup in Kraft dinner. Why do we like Kraft dinner? This is so weird. In my youth, everybody ate Katie at least once a month, When I was young, I used to always like to do Kraft dinner. The more I got old, more I feel like this is the worst thing ever. Yeah, so we're gonna make a Kraft dinner, but we're gonna make it homemade and amazing. Today, before we do a recipe, we shall talk a little bit about Kraft as a company, the history, what are they all about, what do they own, because those big companies, they own so many products you wouldn't even know. And if you like it, we might do other food company, because that's pretty nice to know, We're gonna make enemies and friends in today's episode, so Kraft might hate us or they might like us. Yeah, they're certainly gonna hate us after this. Alright, let's talk about the history of Kraft. The founder of the company, James Lewis Bernard Kraft, he started the company with a humble beginning of just cheese delivering. And slowly his company grew, and the guy had a big thing going for him because he was at the forefront of pasturing cheeses. So basically make sure that cheeses lasted a longer time so they don't go bad during transportation. And during those years, people didn't have great way to conserve food like fridge. In general, people didn't have fridge. And then World War I started, so great food preservation was a key for the army. And then Kraft was a really innovating business, starting adding new product like Miracle Whip and then the Bucks mac and cheese. And then the company got so big they started buying other company. And then World War II happened and the US just buy a ton of their cheese. And then Kraft is booming and they're slowly adding more and more company and product into their rank, slowly growing to one of the major superpower company. Then the company attracted one of the biggest company at the time, Philip Morris, the cigarette. He was already the owner of General Food Company, so it was like, hey, why not add more food company like Kraft? He joined the two food companies, so they became one big organized food company. But then the cigarette company started to go bad. So Philip Morris was like, hey Kraft, do you want to get out of this? Because it's starting to get a little bit messy out here. And they were like, yeah, for sure. But you gotta understand that at this point, Kraft was the second biggest food company on earth. And then what happened next is more company buying, Kraft getting bigger and bigger, and nothing can stop them. Big investor was coming in like Warren Buffett. But then they got so big they decided to do a split between Mondelez and Kraft. Well, now that Kraft got way smaller as a company, they started working a little bit of what they're lacking, But then problem came in. So let me explain to you a little bit of what Kraft was facing. Kraft always got kind of the same issue coming back, and I don't know why they're not fixing it. I mean, they're trying to fix it hard nowadays, but it took a long time to realize it. The big problem is they were super greedy for profit, where they would put not enough money for advertising and for the development of new products. They will reduce the number of employees, and what they didn't put into account is things changed, people start eating different stuff. It was like they were still living in Bronze Age and everybody was like modern days, I mean, they were still doing fine, their good product were still working great, but they didn't have no new product, nothing was kind of growing, they were just staying the same, And then a big change happened. Well, Warren Buffett and 3G just had invested into Ants and they had the company, and they decided, hey, why not buy Kraft too? So they merged the two companies together. Warren Buffett had made some big profit with food company back in the days. He's actually the one who sold General Food to Philip Morris for a hefty amount of price, so it was like, hey, let's make more profit again. But then as the buyout of those two companies was kind of a mess and it was kind of not a big profit, they went on doing the same problem that Kraft had for years. But yeah, Kraft still got some good brands that are working. They got their classic Kraft vinaigrette, and they got their Kraft mac and cheese box. They got Philadelphia. They got Cracker Barrel. Oh wait, no, they're selling it. Oh, okay, well, fuck. But okay, let's stop here and let's see on the bright side, what are the solutions they can come up with to make the company great again. At first I was thinking, well, they could go back to their roots, you know, they could go and produce more of those nice cheese products, but then they sell most of them, so they're definitely not going for that. The second thing they can try to do is make different type of variation of their popular product, which is truly not so popular anymore. You know, you don't get purple ketchup going crazy again. I mean, they're still trying it, man. They did a pumpkin spice Kraft dinner. The level of originality on this one is overwhelming. The other way they could survive is developing more products that are more suitable for today's market. And I'm pretty sure this is what they're gonna focus more on. But the problem with that is the competition is like freaking crazy, man. It's so tough. You know, Kraft, you should be on TikTok and get into the hype train of the feta pasta, man. This shit is going crazy. People didn't know they could cook feta with pasta. What a crazy invention. But the true only one solution that they got is to make Mr. Peanut the CEO of the company. Legit, everybody would go nuts for that. I already know the two little bears from the peanut butter jar, they're gonna freaking love this. But yeah, good luck, Kraft. Let's do this. So yeah, so for our pasta dough, a little bit of flour and semolina. Kraft dinner with only semolina, I feel like it would be too luxurious to put just semolina into a Kraft dinner. When semolina is too fancy for you, you know you're not fancy. Kraft, you gotta get a little bit fancy, you know, put some truffles somewhere, or just like lobster, just something, man. Give us some hope. Yeah, you see all this ingredient and you're like, what the fuck is going on? This is how I was doing my Kraft dinner, so don't ask, okay, any question. This is how we're gonna do it, and you're gonna respect. I'm Canadian, I know better than you. So yeah, we're gonna make a hot sauce, because I always put a shit ton of hot sauce in there, because it doesn't taste like nothing. Kraft dinner, even when I was young, I knew that Kraft dinner didn't have any taste. Yeah, we're gonna make a pretty basic hot sauce. We're gonna have some habanero, a bit of red pepper. We got a little bit of garlic, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of white vinegar. So for the mac and cheese, it's pretty basic stuff. We're gonna have a little bit of milk, and we're gonna do a roux, so we got butter and flour. I got 2 cheese, which is a little bit of the orange color that we want, you know, the really artificial looking color.
You are what you eat.
This cheese is really strong, a lot of flavor, so that's gonna help. And this one gonna help having more of the orange filling, and it's still tasty, you know, it's just orange cheddar, it's a good quality, you know. And for the topping, how I used to do it, I always put hot dog, sausage, and bacon. But since we're making it a little bit more fancy, I got a nice smoked sausage, a little bit more fancy, a little bit more tasty, and I got some beautiful bacon. I mean, this is natural bacon. And just to feel a little bit less bad about ourselves, because we're gonna eat way too much fat and calorie in this one, I add a little bit of parsley, you know. It's a little bit of parsley. Fancy. We're healthy. Let's do this. Alright, we're gonna start by doing the macaroni. So I'm using the extruder. I'm gonna mix my flour with my semolina with a little bit of water until we get a sticky consistency, not too dry, not too wet. Then I'm gonna pour this into my extruder, and I'm just letting the extruder do the work. Cutting it into little small macaroni, and then you're gonna end up with a bunch of macaroni. Really careful, put a lot of flour so nothing stick on this one. And yeah, this is gonna be the best macaroni you ever freaking ate in your entire life, man. This is delicious. And then you're gonna end up with a bunch of it. Look at that beauty. Alright, once the macaroni is done, we're gonna get started on the hot sauce. Alright, I got the oven at broil. We're gonna put some red pepper, some habanero, and some garlic onto a pan. We're gonna let them roast for a couple of minutes until we got some coloration going. Then we're gonna put the habanero and the garlic to the side, and let the red pepper grill onto the other side until it's nice and burnt like this. Then we're gonna unseed and get rid of the skin of the red pepper. We're gonna add it to the blender with the habanero and the garlic. We're gonna add the sugar, the paprika, the white vinegar, and I give it a little pinch of salt and a little pinch of pepper. Then we blend all of this until it's nice and smooth. Alright, next we're gonna cook the meat. I got the oven at 400 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna put my bacon and my sausage, and I'm gonna grill them until they got some coloration. And then you just get rid of the extra fat that you don't want, and boom, this is ready. Alright, now it's time to make the cheese sauce. I'm adding the butter into the pan and then the flour. I mix everything together, and then you can add your milk. Add it gradually and never stop mixing with a whisker. And then we're gonna cook all that until it's starting to feel a little bit thick, and then we're gonna add our cheese. At this point you can close the heat or put it to real low and just let the cheese melt until you get a perfect cheesy sauce. Easy clap. Alright, it's time to cook our pasta, so we put the pasta into boiling water and we cook them until they're ready. Shouldn't take too long. And you can reserve a little bit of cooking water if you want. Then I'm putting the pasta directly into the sauce and I'm mixing everything, and I'm looking at the consistency. Does it need a little bit of cooking water? Is it enough thick? And then it's ready for plating time. I'm plating it right into the pan. I'm adding the hot sauce on top. I'm adding the meat, the sausage, the bacon. And we don't forget the final touch, the little parsley, the little magic on top. And boom, there we have it. Easy mac and cheesy. Yo, that was pretty easy, Kraft. You got some big competition coming up, because that is gonna be good. I already know it because I already ate it. Okay, if we get a clean plate with this one, there's a problem. I cannot eat that in one go. It would be a bad decision. Yeah, so let's just dive into it. Oof, that's gonna be good. I will say go for this one every time. Don't even bother with Katie. Don't do Katie to your kids. Does that look good, Mr. Cat? Who do you think is the funniest actor? I gotta do a top 3. I always do a top 3 because I cannot decide. Probably at number 3, I would put James Franco.
Right? He's motherfucking peanut butter and jealous.
I will say Will Ferrell would be number 2.
This burrito is delicious, but it is filling.
Number 1, I mean, Steve Carell. With like, after you watch The Office, you can understand where you cannot, like, it's like Steve Carell is just too good.
I declare bankruptcy!
So yeah, that was my list. I know for your list, guys, you're gonna put me and Mr. Cat number 1, number 2. But okay, let's not count us and let's do a list without us. First time we don't finish a meal on the screen. But guess what? It was probably one of the best, man. That was freaking delicious. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I shall see you on another episode. Bye bye bye, peace.